Sorry, Ike.
Oh, Ike's like, why? Now you have to pet the dog.
I'm sorry. Good noon. Thank you for joining us on our YouTubes. My name is Drew, and I am joined once again by our lovely pastoral team that we have in their own home. And have you... So, I'm nervous about this one because my phobia is...
One of
my phobias is sesquipedalophobia, which freaks me out all on its own. Is the fear of long words.
That's really interesting. Okay, so what's that phobia where you're freaked out by things that have holes in them?
Holophobia?
No, it's holophobia. Yeah, like those little lily pods that have the holes in them.
What's a lily pod?
Like you know what I'm talking about?
No
The thing with holes. Some of you are going to know what I'm talking about. I trust you to know what I'm talking about. Unnatural holes in things give me the heebie-jeebies and freak me out. Lori, what scares you?
Y'all are both full of baloney, but I will be honest because that's what I do. Rodents are terrifying.
Oh,
they can run places without you having time to register where they're going or what they're doing, and they're just disgusting. And I don't know why they made it on the ark.
I thought you were saying you were going to be honest. It's not just rodents.
Okay.
It's all
creatures
small
that can
creatures.
run and scurry like that. Drew's family used to have what were they?
Bearded dragons.
Bearded dragons, and
this was a beautiful moment.
Scurrying.
All that
Scurrying
happened.
freaks Lori out.
they put them on
What
the
it comes
floor
down to.
just to watch me. Did I jump
That
onto
wasn't
the
even,
countertop?
Yeah, that wasn't even
Yeah.
what happened though. They were in their cage. It was late at night.
And I realized they were
And
there.
the light turned off behind her, and she goes, "Oh, what's that?" And she turns around and screams and runs across our living room and jumps onto the counter. These things are like the size of my
and then they
arm.
take them
It's not-
out.
Yeah, they're
That
cute.
was super loving behavior.
And to be fair, I was being honest. When's the last time you heard me use a big word?
I really don't like the holes thing, but yeah. So
Ugh.
today on Brown Shag Carpet, we're working through our series Como se dice, which is really badly translated American Spanish accent for how do you say. And so today we actually want to talk about how do you say as a parent and as a kid in a healthy way in a family, I'm scared. And they tell you should never date YouTube videos because it distances you from people who are watching them.
I thought you meant go out on
That's-
dates with, and
that's where I
because
was at,
that's
too.
No,
disgusting
like,
and inappropriate.
But at the risk of dating this video, I will say yesterday was kind of a significant day in our country.
There were some riots.
There were some riots in D.C. We're filming this on the day after the protesters broke into the Capitol building and ran through the Senate and did that kind of stuff. We're not going to make this political.
Not in the least.
But we will say that it was kind of a freaky day. And so picking one of these to start on, how do you say I'm scared, seemed like a valid way
Yeah.
to start.
Yeah. My dad was actually emailing me this morning and saying that it brought up an opportunity for conversation with my nieces and nephew who were at his house for dinner last night when they were watching the news. And yeah, anyway, so I was really kind of thought it was cool they engaged in it.
And I think that probably is a good place for us to start because as we begin this conversation of how do you say I'm scared as a parent, one of the things that we want you to hear as you have these conversations with your teenagers and with your younger kids is simply the fact that, spoiler alert, they didn't think you were bulletproof and they didn't think you don't have those emotions. They know you're scared. They know you get scared. It's really just a question of how you're honest with them about the things that scare you. So particularly...
and how you handle your fear.
And how you handle your fear. And so as we talk about how do you say I'm scared as a parent, the three things that we would like you to know are, one, your kids already know that you experience fear, right? Our kids don't actually think we're superheroes beyond the age of about 2.5.
And if they don't think that, then it requires some vulnerability from you because you're teaching them not to express their fear.
Or that they are bad or less if they do
Yes.
feel fear.
Right.
Right? Because being accessible for our kids and teaching our kids to be accessible adults actually makes them more communicative, more powerful adults. And so letting your kids know that you really actually do feel fear is is step number one. Step number two is letting your kids know that just because you feel fear doesn't mean that you're out of control. Right? Doesn't mean that there aren't things that you can do. Doesn't mean that you're powerless to take care of them. So step one is sharing the fear. Step two is talking to your kids about the safeguards that you have in place as a family to keep them safe in spite of that fear.
What can
because
you
of that
control
fear.
yourself?
So here are the things that we do control, right? Here are the things that we are doing to keep you safe. And that builds confidence in your kids in terms of how they respond to that fear, because they know that they're part of a family system that can do that. And because you've been able to say, I'm scared, and here's what we're doing about it, you're actually able to give them more confidence than they ever had by just ignoring the issue. And then the third thing is, this is a fantastic opportunity as a family to point ourselves and our kids back to Christ. Because ultimately, the control that any of us have is only vested in the grace and peace that we have through Christ. And so this is a fantastic opportunity to talk about what it is to have real security and real peace.
Yep, and that was exactly my dad's point last night, was the sovereignty, but the hope and the peace that we can have through our relationship with Christ.
So give them honesty, give them the situation, show them what you're prepared for, and then point them to Christ. How do you say I'm scared as an adult? I'd say those are 3 steps. Lord, how about teaching your kids to tell us when they're scared when they're children?
Look, you're scared right now.
Yeah. So I would actually say it mirrors the conversation as an adult, and it's always with respect as much as they can, because that's long time been one of our things is you can talk to us about anything with respect. But for them, help them to articulate that if it's their behaviors that are showing it, and then as the adult helping them to identify you're scared and this is what's going on. So giving them words to identify what they're feeling, and then helping them to talk, why are you scared?
That's a good callback to last week too.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that, go back, check that out. There's a lot of good stuff in there about the conversation starters with your feelings and what your kids are feeling.
Particularly the anger iceberg that we talked about
Which
last week.
Scared was under there.
Yeah, so scared is one of the biggest drivers of anger for any people.
Lack of control, all of those things, and so helping them to give voice to what's actually making them scared. Is it the uncertainty? Is it whatever it is? And then in the same manner is leading them to pray about that and to pray together after you have come up with some action items together on what can we do to be proactive about this, and to help them to understand that they're a child, but they have control too. They have control over the way they choose to respond in a particular scenario, but as well as praying about it gives them the opportunity to go, well, I'm really passionate about this. I really care about this. Maybe this is my God job. Maybe God wants me to do something about this right now. I think get out of their way. Support them and encourage them in it. But I would say those messages with the kids just mirror the parents.
And then the really powerful thing that happens there that's just super cool is the crazy things that happen in the world around us cease to have the power to pull us apart as a family. But because we've talked honestly about how we feel as a family, about what our systems are, and we've pointed our family to Christ and gone and prayed together, the things that happen outside of us only serve to push us closer together as a family. And that's really powerful, and it really does bring real security. So how do you say I'm scared as a parent or as a kid? And how do we use that to grow and deepen our families?
That's awesome. So that's all the time we have for this week. Be sure to join us again next week on Brown Shag Carpet. It may be Como Sedisa, it may be something else that I don't remember because I don't have these planned. But we will see you next week.
And do you know where your children are?
Yeah, babe, do you know where they went?
I don't, actually. I think they're doing homework.
I don't know where my kids are.
At least 3 of them are not in the house.
Asher's still on.
I don't have kids. Okay, so what I'm really scared of.
Newsflash.